When did she submit the letter of resignation to you, and what was that conversation? I mean, was this something, a mutual conversation between you two? Did you try to get her to stay on through your term?
I always try to keep my people, and I always know when they're ready to go. And the chief has given us just a tremendous service. I think any chief that can look back at 2 years of dramatic crime reduction is leaving in good shape. And not only that, to make sure the department has the tools that it needs to advance. And the chief submitted her resignation last week.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Earlier today, the police union put out a statement regarding, Chief, your decision to leave. They said they respect your service, but they also added, I won't read the whole thing, but, quote, the union questions the timing of this announcement, which comes amid active investigations by the House Oversight Committee and the Department of Justice into allegations of manipulation of crime statistics and mismanagement with MPD. Can I ask you, once you leave, will you still be available to the committee and the Justice Department to assist in this investigation? And how much did this pressure from the White House, the Justice Department, the House committees, how much did this factor into you making that decision?
Chief, can I just start? And I'm not really sure what statement you're referring to from Pemberton, and that's unfortunate because it sounds like he's trying to drum up his own investigation. And we are very proud of our partnership with MPD and the union. We're especially proud that we worked very hard to get them the type of agreement that the men and women of the police department deserve. And we can say without equivocation that all of our employees have participated as they have been asked by both the Congress and the USAO. Chief.
And so to answer your last question first, I have no comment with respect to the union's letter. I haven't read it. This is the second actually I've heard about it, but I have not had an opportunity to read it. And so my decision was not factored into anything with respect other than the fact that it's time. I've had 28 years in law enforcement. I've had some time to think with my family. I mean, I shared that this morning with on Fox 5 with respect to the fact that I've been running for 28 years. This has really been a fast-paced role because it is in a major city, and I know that the challenges that we've faced have, we've had some high points and we've had some low points, but respectfully right now this is a personal decision for myself and for my family.
Yeah.
Good morning, Chief and the Mayor as well. What kind of comes next in this process? We know you're staying on through the end of the year, but is there an interim? Can you speak about the process a little bit about finding the next chief of police, if there's anybody in mind you might want to talk about?
No, we will. I will make an appointment at the appropriate time. Yep.
Peace and blessings. This question is either for you, Madam Mayor, or Chief Smith. Just in terms of the collaboration with the federal law enforcement, what latitude or what strategy are you going to employ just to ensure that there are no more warrantless arrests on the part of ICE, just given what the court decision that came out earlier this month? And just piggybacking off of that question, what reflections do you have in terms of just the post-search cooperation, what went right, what went wrong, just you coming out of your position as chief, how would you have gone about your MP's relationship with federal agents post-search?
So first of all, I wanted, and thank you, Sam, for that question. We've always had a relationship with our federal partners. I mean, this is not new. I came from the federal government. It's 24 years. And so those relationships that we've had pre the surge have always been there. What I will add with respect to once the surge began, the strategies that we have in place right now, I mean, I think we've said it a lot, that we do not work with ICE. We do work with our other federal partners, and the way that is designed and created, I think, has helped us to some degree with regards to making sure that if they're going to be here, that we have an opportunity to know exactly, where they are and how they can work with us in the space of public safety. They are assigned to all 7 of our districts. They do come to attend our roll calls, and then they do go out with our crime suppression team and our special mission unit officers.
If I may follow up.
Sure.
So my understanding is that HSI and ICE are sort of, if not the same entity, they're under, the name of the entity escapes me. My understanding is that they're one and the same. So in terms of the 2 instances that took place on Bending Road and around Sheriff Road, those, in a sense, at least as residents see it, did involve ICE. So just speaking as a reporter, I would like some clarity around the nature of that relationship because, to your point, federally and locally, law enforcement has been collaborating, but with my 4 eyes, I can see that the relationship has changed from August 11th on. So, as a reporter, once again, I'm just trying to get a sense of, once again, the nature of the relationship and how you as chief coming out would have approached it differently, given that, under MPD's watch, HSI agents have shot at motorists, almost killing them.
HSI is a Homeland Security agency. They don't report to MPD. So HSI can operate in any jurisdiction in the United States of America. So their oversight body is the Congress of the United States.
All right, so in terms of that, Mayor, again,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm approaching this as a reporter, just for clarity's sake. What was the whole rationale in continuing that relationship? And I'm very clear, as Deputy Mayor Pia said last week in front of the council, that DC doesn't quite have the latitude to do what other cities are doing in terms of rejecting that. But at the very same time, you did say that that collaboration has soured relations between the police and the community. So what was the rationale in continuing that?
And me issuing a mayor's order, I have exhaustively discussed that. And our mayor's order lays out very clearly our relationship with DOJ agencies. And we entered into it to exit a presidential emergency. And we have since, while our MPD and our officers and our leadership were driving down crime for 2 straight years, including leading up to the presidential emergency. We have also seen since then an acceleration of those improvements, and we finished the year with continued improvements in violent crime. Any other questions? Yes.
Yes, for the chief. Sorry, even back here. I just didn't know if you can share anything about what's next. Are you staying in any law enforcement roles? Are you retiring altogether? Anything you could share?
So as I shared earlier this morning with Fox 5, I think the next step for me within the next couple of weeks is really to just relax, take a moment to relax and reflect on the resiliency of the members of the Metropolitan Police Department. I will be available to the incoming or interim to provide him or her support with respect to the direction that the police department will continue.
Okay. Yep.
Just kind of looking back, looking back on 23 crime surge in the district. This is for the chief. We saw every other major city, or most major cities in America, see a decrease in 23. When you came in and took over, what was it that you can look back on now and say was going right? What was going wrong in D.C. at that time, since it was lagging behind by about a year from every other major city?
Well, I think it was just really just the different strategies and the approaches. And I will say this, the mayor and the deputy mayor were very instrumental in ensuring that we had legislation that supported what we needed as police officers passed during that time period, and it really helped to provide the support that we needed to ensure that we could drive down violent crime in the city. It was challenging, yes, very challenging. But I think the decisions that the mayor made, the decision that the relationships that we built with all of our external partners within DC government, I think has been instrumental. And I think we overlook that the relationship that we built specifically with the Homicide Reduction Partnership Plan, and that wasn't just specific to the Metropolitan Police Department, but we brought in quality of life support from our DC government agencies, DBH, DPW, CFSA actually helped out, and there were some others, to name all the alphabet suits. But to be honest, it was really a collective effort of DC government agencies that really helped us in this space, as well as residents in our city.
Yep.
Mayor, you said you'll name an interim at the appropriate time.
Mm-hmm.
Will that be before the end of the year?
Yes.
Okay. And then can you tell us just about the challenge you're facing trying to get somebody to replace the chief when you yourself will only be in your job for another 13 months, and so it may not be a permanent position? Will you be looking nationally or just within MPD? Can you just talk a little bit about the search and the challenges that you'll face given your situation?
I don't call it a challenge, Mark, because of the very deep bench we have and because of the great reputation of our department. So I wouldn't call it a challenge. We will have the right person in leadership, and I just want to give it a little bit more time. I will say this. I've been around long enough to know and to have lived through transitions and transitions for outgoing mayors, one of whom I was replacing. And so there are ways to approach this period of time and do it in a way that's going to be most beneficial to DC residents. So I'm gonna marinate on it a little bit, and I'll appoint the right perfect person.
I just followed. You said you have MPD as a deep bench.
Yes.
Does that indicate you'll be looking internally rather?
Well, obviously, I will. That doesn't mean I wouldn't look outside, but I'm obviously going to start first with the best police department in the nation. Yes.
Chief, I would say I think a lot of people in DC really admire you showing up day in and day out at night, early in the morning to unfortunate crime scenes, and I admire that as well. Also, you're involved with WJLA TV and the kids in the Southeast. That was very special too. With all that said, what do you think is the biggest win for your time in office, and also the biggest loss?
So the biggest win, obviously, is driving down crime the way we've managed to do it at this point. But I think for me, because I am a person of community, I love this city. I mean, it has been a lot of work, but the way the members of the residents of the District of Columbia have embraced me. I remember coming into the space and I said to the mayor, I said, dang, people want to take pictures all the time. And she said, well, it would be something if they didn't want to take a picture with you at all. And so everywhere I go and everywhere I've been in this city, the residents have really embraced me, and I'm grateful for that. I think, and I'm going to make this personal, if I have to talk about what was challenging for me, was losing a member of our workforce. I thought about it this morning, like, no chief wants to lose a member in the line of duty, or even outside of the line of duty. And knowing that I was 3,000 miles away, and I just spent time with Investigator Wayne David the month before at an outside event, and we had such an amazing conversation. That was probably my lowest point on the job. I didn't know how I was going to get through that, and I don't think people understand, being a chief at the top of an organization, it can be lonely at times, because one of the things that we always have to do is show up strong every single day in this space, and I certainly appreciate, and I'm going to say this, Deputy Mayor Lindsay Appiah, she's walked the streets with me sometimes at night when I was first in this space. I mean, we're stepping over police tape and lines and all kinds of things, and I was like, ooh, did I know what I got myself into? But I also appreciate the continued support, and my weekly meetings with Mayor Bowser, has been something that I probably have never experienced in leadership. What I can say about the mayor's leadership for me is that she's not overbearing. She's been very, very intentional about allowing me to lead the police department and lead the city. And then there are moments where she's had to sit down and say to me, hey, we need to get this crime down. I'll never forget that day. And I walked out feeling like, okay, I've got to look at different initiatives and different strategies. And I wanted to make sure that we had the best leadership in place. And the mayor said it best. We have a bench of men and women at the Metropolitan Police Department who I would stand up against anyone across the United States 10 toes down. They know what to do. They know how to lead. They know how to manage. I also would like to applaud Chief Conti, who stood up the DC Police Leadership Academy. And that is a space where we build a generation of leaders, not just here in MPD, but across the United States. We have a long list of folks in line to take that class, leaders across the country. And so for me, it was really about continuing to build leadership. So at any point in time, I chose to walk away. The mayor, as she stated, it won't be challenging. She can look at the depth that we have and make the best decision for continuing to move our police department and our city forward.
Okay. One.
Beatrice Peterson, ABC News. Police Chief, another question for you. I was wondering, what do you hope your legacy will be as Police Chief? And what advice do you give for the next Police Chief? You've done 28 years of service federally and locally. So what do you hope that they can do for the next?
So I'll go with the 3 C's for the, you have to be able to communicate. You have to have excellent collaboration, not just with our external partners, but with our DC government partners. And we have to have, the person has to have a passion for community. The residents in this community, I mean, my phone rings all time of day, all time of night, and you have to answer the call. You have to answer the phone. You have to show up. You may have to sit in somebody's basement to have a conversation about something. You have to dress down sometimes. Sometimes I'm in community and people don't know I'm there, and it's just to protect the anonymity of the folks who really trust the Metropolitan Police Department, but sometimes are afraid to share the information that's necessary. And so I think those are the 3 critical things: communication, collaboration, and you have to be involved in community.
Okay, last 2. Oh, go ahead.
Legacy?
Let me think about that.
Okay, last 2 here. Yep.
Thanks. Chief Smith, I wanted to ask, for when you have your incoming interim police chief, the challenge right now is certainly with the federal Joint Task Force. And I wonder if you can elaborate on, A, the specific guidance you have given commanders or rank and file officers about how to handle that, especially when it comes to if federal immigration officers want to step in, a traffic stop, and then what advice you would give the next interim police.
I don't think I have to give
that.
him or her any advice. We've walked through this path together for 2.5 years. The leaders that you see in place, I meet with them on a weekly basis, sometimes 2 and 3 times a week. We talk about what's happening in the city. They know probably better than I do what's happening in community from day to day with our federal partners, because a lot of them are very intimately involved, especially our commanders. So at this point, I don't need to give them any advice. I think what I'd like to do is give them encouragement.
Can you elaborate on any instructions that you have given?
With the same instructions that we've had up to this point. If he or she chooses to go in a different direction, I will leave that up to the chief or interim chief to make that decision. But as of right now, we've been working in the vein in which I've advised, and it's working for us.
Appreciate it. I have a budget question. So last week during the legislative meeting, when the council extended the juvenile emergency curfew, it was my understanding that they wanted to see some budget priorities in terms of services and recreational activities for youth. Has there been any thought in acquiescing to that? Do you have any thoughts on, either Mayor Bowser or Chief Smith around just what the council is requesting? Is it anything?
Well, the council, as you know, is the budget maker. They completed the budget for this year just in, I don't know, what was that, August? The first week in August. So I'm assuming that they laid out their budget priorities in the budget.
Sorry, I meant for FY27.
Well, FY27, we won't issue that budget until March or April.
Right, and then so again, April 15th was their deadline because they want to see your priorities for FY27 before they started entertaining the possibility of permanent legislation.
I'm not sure I follow your question.
No problem. So my question is that April 15th, that was the deadline that was imposed.
In 2026?
In 2026, yes.
Okay.
Because they wanted to see your priorities for FY27, and if you were going to, I guess.
Oh, you mean for the juvenile curfew? That was a date that was associated with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I got it. Okay. I wasn't aware of that, but okay.
So in terms of your priorities, have you given any thought as to, acquiescing to that? Or is there anything in terms of programming that you see you can add, or, at the council, are they out of step,
I won't say, I won't say they're out of step, but they may not be as aware about the vast programming that's available. And so we would want everybody, not just the council, but all of our agencies, as we do every year in the budget formulation process, we're looking at what works, what doesn't work, what needs to shift. I do think it's a bit of a red herring to talk about that in the juvenile curfew. I think they're two different conversations. And I would hope that the council wouldn't punt on what is working. I mean, what did they do? Did they pass it?
They extended it temporary to April 15th.
Got it. So we are, I would want to make sure that they're keeping tools in the toolbox that work. And it's really separate and apart from questions about recreation activities, in my opinion. Right. Thank you, everybody.